Okay, here we are. How is it going, everyone? It's been a while. I'm sorry about this. I actually had to take a break from Ultima Online. I know it wasn't the right decision, perhaps, but life happens, you know. And I really missed it. I really missed playing and then just killing, playing my character here, just enjoying myself, just raiding dungeons, like boss runs and all kind of stuff. Though I don't do it that often on my red character. But I made a nice troll character, actually, just going out there as blue, but coming out as grey, and then just messing about with people. So that kind of character got me hooked up again with playing a blue character. And then I kind of pushed my red aside a bit, just focusing on that the other one. And it actually is really good, really good. I'm really enjoying it. And lately, I started securing lots of kills with it as well. Whoever pretty much attacks me in between their farming because of seeing me going grey, and I just respond to it accordingly, obviously, and knowing how to PvP, and they don't realize actually that's my ult, and as a result I'm securing lots of kills on it as well. Anyway, so today we are talking about PvP tactics. So I wanted to, obviously I promised in the last video that I will be doing a chapter 2 of my PvP training, which is about showing how I got here, what kind of tactics I use, and how did I improve myself. And this is going to be a mix of a few tips, I would say. Let's start with the first one. And my first one is something that you normally wouldn't perhaps expect to hear, but it is, I think, the most important part of becoming a better PvPer, and it is about practicing. So practicing is something that you need to apply to every move that you do in the game to become better at it. So as an example, running is something you need to practice. So you need to be able to avoid obstacles on the map, and you need to be reading everything on your way, looking at the map where you're heading to, looking at how you can avoid groups chasing you if you take them to a different path versus somewhere else. And practicing this as much as you can will definitely help make you a better PvPer. So let's head to somewhere. Let's go to Daemon Keep. So Daemon Keep is one of my favorite places, as you know, and I am just gonna show you a couple of things here. So one is, as you run into the area, it is Lawless zone, and that means basically anyone can attack anyone, and you don't take a kill count, and you can loot anything you like here. You're not gonna go grey. And when you are farming here, you see that it is kind of like a closed area. There is no escape from here. This tiny spot here is, I think it's kind of outside the gray zone here. There you go. So if you're here, a blue won't be able to attack you unless they are basically ready to take a count. You could also look at coming here with your boat. Some people do, actually, especially for team mapping, and it's like a safe exit for them, getting back on their boats. And another thing I will say is, if you're farming anywhere here, you normally try to escape if someone is chasing you or ambushing you with their gang of friends through a couple of routes. One is obviously up here, one is obviously just either going through there or going straight down here, and you exit from here. As soon as you exit, it is you're leaving the Lawless region, and so on. So you kind of play here as much as you can, and then learn how to escape, where to go. It's not very complicated, but there are some things here that you need to also learn, and that goes through practicing. So fighting, and then in the fight putting what you learned into practice is actually what you need to do, rather than just randomly stupidly running like I do here, which doesn't teach you much. So one example, there is an exit route here. You see the transparency? It's basically a tile. The wall is broken, so I can fall here, and it means I'm losing some health when I fall. But most people, because they don't know how to exit from here, if they're getting chased by people and they panic, run up, and then they trap themselves. When they trap themselves, they are more likely to die. If they return back from stairs, down, and then try to run inside here, they are very likely to die as well, because they're gonna get a couple of E-bolts on their head and there's no escape. If you run behind the walls, then you are 99% going to be avoiding death. Another thing, here, you can actually get stuck. Most people run like this and then think they can go beyond. It doesn't work. So you come up and then under the stairs, under this arc, you could actually just run past. And did you notice that you're in Lawless zone in between, and then you're exiting it? So something to think about as well. So this is just one example of practicing, but obviously this is not going to make you a better PvPer, just learning how to run, perhaps not as much as learning how to cast a spell or equip a weapon and so on. So let's just talk about that. If you're out and about and you're a mage, you will have to cast some spells to kill your enemy, right? You might think that just having a hotkey, pressing the button and casting an E-bolt on an opponent doesn't need much practicing. You can just get away with doing it once and then dropping it on, let's say, your opponent, and that's it. But it is not the case, and let me tell you why. You have your macros, you have your hotkeys. You know that this one does lightning, my S key does mind plus, my D key does E-bolt, and I know what to cast. I would just go to a PvP, pre-casting it and waiting for someone to appear on my screen, then I could just drop it on them, done. The problem is, in so many situations while you're PvPing, you will have to adapt the gameplay accordingly for the moment. So not every time casting an E-bolt will help you, and not every time it will help you finish a PvP. Sometimes, even though you are in a position to drop it to your opponent, you will cancel it because just it will cost you mana, but in fact you might have a better approach to it and you might need to kite. So that's why when I say practice, what I mean is start with casting 50 E-bolts, not in one row, but at least get to a point where you can repeat something 50 times. During the process, what you will learn is, out of 50 times of repeating something, it can be an E-bolt, it can be a combo of spells, it can be a type of gameplay you have. As you repeat it 50 times, you will realize at the beginning you are possibly failing 30 or 40 of it. But towards the end, your success rates will go up, because you will realize when you're casting an E-bolt here, if the person gets out of line of sight, you could misclick and then you could miss it. And that means reading the game while trying to cast an E-bolt is something that you need to pay more attention to, as opposed to how you thought of it before. Same time, if you're in a group fight, if both of you dumping E-bolt on an opponent who seems to have precasted greater heal, then both of you will be losing mana, but your opponent will just get out of the trouble. So not the best way of approaching it. And same time, if you're fighting a dexxer, E-bolt will cost you more mana than Mind Blast, but if that dexxer is wearing a plate mail with a shield, you would be fool to go for E-bolt, because you just think E-bolt, 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 that's all I do all day long, and you know, I would do the same on this person. No. And the way to make this work in your brain is practicing. It makes sense when I say these things and everyone knows it, but putting into practice will make you think less. And this is the most important thing about practicing. Repeating something 50 times will turn this into a habit. When you're in a PvP, if you want to be able to focus on the game properly, know how to act, what to do, your next steps, watching 5 or 6 moving objects at the same time, you don't want to be thinking about, oh, should I cast a Mind Blast? Oh, E-bolt, explosion, what do I do? Oh, and then just start from somewhere, and then you keep failing, and you realize you don't have this enough output power, and the person is just recovering non-stop, and you're just not getting there, and that just leaves you with bitter sweet taste of the game, like where you feel like this game mechanics are not quite good, you can't quite PvP, you can't quite kill people, but they are just raiding you with 5 of their friends and you have absolutely no chance of fighting back. That is where you're heading to, and all a result of not practicing enough. So the step number 1, as I said, practice, repeat a move, a single move, anything, at least 50 times. Do it throughout time, so not all in one go. Do it over a week, over a month. You will get there. It will compound the learning, the finding you have from it, and then eventually you will be so comfortable with what you're doing. So that is the rule or step or tip number 1. Let's move on to number 2. I would say another equal practicing or equal skill to kind of develop for better PvP is reading the game. So I have my tracking on. I know this person is here farming. I could roughly guess where this person is. 56 spaces to the target, so it's possibly farming just in the middle somewhere here. So I could approach from here directly, or I can approach from top. I need to understand which way I can come with a big surprise and what spell I should be casting, and knowing which mobs are there, the escape routes, is quite key. I might fail this time, but I'm just gonna show you. Oh. I casted a spell on the wrong on the mob because I'm talking and I'm not concentrated, and this is something I'm gonna cover actually as a tip. So let's just get out there again somewhere. Shall we head to ruins? Yeah. Okay, so we have someone here. Obviously just got out of trouble. Seeing a PK, and then we have somebody else farming nicely. Misclicked, not good. Can't be. Nice one. Panicked, lost tons of loot. I'll take that. So I didn't want to take risks, as you saw. I was getting battered by the mobs, and yeah, so looks like a noobish character, but with an Avarite sword. So that's too much for a noobish character. So I would say he does know. Can rest here. Interesting. Okay, never mind. So yeah, reading the game, knowing where you are, and making sure that you don't get blocked by all these obstructions. He didn't know, he didn't practice that enough. He didn't know how to get out of there. As you saw, he went to the bottom part instead of going to the right, where is the exit. And that means when you don't practice enough, when you don't know where you are on the map and how to get out of trouble, you are more likely to die. So, same time, if you're a PK, trying to kill people, if you don't know how to get out of there, or how to find exits and shortcuts, then you're less likely to secure a kill, or perhaps you cannot defend yourself well enough and you will die as well. So that is my tip 2, or step 2 of becoming a better PvPer, is reading the game, knowing how to move, what to do, taking advantage of it. And on that note, I'm going to be now switching to another tip, which is making sure you can survive. You cannot kill if you're dead. You're dead. You can't do shit. So you need to make sure that you can protect yourself at all times. Don't take massive risks. It's always good to take some risks, but risk should not be putting you into a stupid position where you don't watch your hits, you don't watch your steps, you don't watch your stamina, you don't watch your mana, and then you end up with huge trouble. If you saw a couple of people casted explosion on you, just because you didn't die at that second doesn't mean you're not gonna die in the next 4 or 5 seconds. Time is ticking. It's gonna explode. You have time to recover from this. You could cast a heal on you if your health is low. If your health is 100, but you are going to be dying soon as a result, what you should do is precast greater heal. Hitting nice and hard. What is going on? Okay, my macros are a bit fucked. Okay, I see. I need to clear my let's say queues. 154 queued actions. What's going on with my need to get my macro checked. I only have like one macro running, which is for trapped pouches and cures. There's absolutely nothing else. It's just entirely hotkeys, and that one macro is just messed up. See ya. Nice loot. Thanks, dude. Thanks for chasing me with a plate mail. Good PvP, but silly one. So did we just fit a PvP in our PvP training? We did. And actually I'm gonna talk about that. You see, I made some mistakes. I mean, I made tons of mistakes, but that's what it is, really. We all make mistakes. I could be good at PvP. Doesn't mean I will never make mistakes. We are all human, right? But the good thing is, I had plenty of time to take the control, to take it back and just recover from it, instead of just completely getting demotivated of my mistake. My macros were messed up. I had 154 actions queued. That stopped me being able to even cast a spell, or even, heck, just I dropped weaken on myself twice, and my last target kept on switching to me, even though I never put myself in target. It's just because of all those queues, resulting in basically just messing up with my targeting. But this is what it is, guys. I demonstrated, I guess, all these three things that I talked about. Practicing something enough times so you know what to do. You don't worry about thinking your next move. It's just automatic. And same time, I also showed an example of reading the scene, how to use the mobs, how to use the place to my favor. I gone for invising myself to get the mob to be aggroed on him and drop the health a bit. And also, as you saw, I casted double weaken, and he was a bit too late to start with his pre-bandaging after drinking greater strength. That gave me enough time to cast 2 spells, plus throw a pot, plus a finisher with a mind blast. And as you also saw, he was wearing a plate mail. It helped me a lot with the mind blast spell to give him the maximum damage. And then he's dead. So in between, I also showed a couple of times how I recovered from almost just as close as being death to like literally 2-3 seconds. That was literally just one more tick of the poison and I would be dead. And avoided this despite the fact that I had a massive queue and my drinking greater cure macro messed up. So it wasn't drinking them fast enough. Allowed the tick to hit me, I think 2 or 3 times, and that was terrible. Like, I thought I was actually about to die. But when you are practiced, when you have practiced it so many times, if you die, you're just so calm. Like, you just think of it as normal, you know. It's a part of the game, and that makes you a lot better because you don't panic. And when you don't panic, you can always recover from something. If you panic, then it's likely to go wrong. Plus, you get upset. You know, you just take it too personal. So this is why these 3 steps are super duper important. Let me drop these loot. The 4th one, you have to focus on the game. Like, you cannot just record a video like I did, talk, and be able to put up a good fight. If you do, even if you're really good at it, you make mistakes, and I've just made so many mistakes there. I didn't realize what's going on. And when I play games, I give 100% of me to it. I wish I could do the same for everything else in my life. Like, imagine if you could give 100% of you to something, you would become so good at it, but we just don't do it, right? You lose your concentration 10 seconds, 30 seconds into starting something. With the games, it's different. When I play, if I'm just recording it, but no voice, no microphone, nothing, I give 100%, and that gives me the edge. that's the way I could manage everything I learned and practiced and put them into, you know, a good example, like a good demonstration of my skills. And this is something you need to do. If you don't focus, no matter how good you are, how many times you practiced, you will make mistakes, and that will make you doubt whether you are good at or not. When you give 100%, it also helps you improve in every aspect better. So when you practice with 100% effort, you get better return. That is the fourth thing I would say. And the fifth is, you need to decide what you're practicing. Obviously, like, you could stop practicing something randomly, but what you're practicing has to align with your gameplay, what you want to do. And it's about reverse engineering. So you choose a template. I got my own custom one here, as you know. It is a survival alchemist mage, which has very high output power. As a mage, I do maximum damage with it. I don't carry any weapons because I'm not a tank mage, and that means I need to use my mana very carefully. If I run out of it, I'm done. I have to kite, I have to get out and then come back to it. And I have enough defensive power, so that means I can take risks, and that means I can kind of afford to drop my health below 50. And I've done this in this PvP. It gave my opponent some encouragement, so didn't run away, fought back, and that means I become deadlier. So this is something that I practiced, and as a skill, particularly dropping my health below 50 during PvP and seeing how it actually results in. So end goal is killing the person I'm fighting, and I end up killing more people when my health is lower than my health is high. I'm excluding those who don't know how to PvP, so they just don't hit back, they keep running away. So obviously they're easier kill if you can stop them, but if someone is fighting back, I secure more kills when my health is low than my health is high, if you know what I mean. So you start from somewhere. Start a combo. Let's go to Island 15, or 4 Demon Island. There's a crab. Oh, crabs. So my combo, typical combo, is telekinesis, and then I go for explosion, throw the pot, E-bolt. Dead. Yes, I won. Crab, no more. I have a crab soup. I can't even loot my crab. There you go. 47 gold. That's the kill of the day. So pick a tactic, pick a combo, goes well with your template, and start practicing it. And go back to the step 1. Practice, practice, practice. And here are the 5 steps of becoming a better PvPer. Thank you. See you at the next one.